Welcome to Her Brain's His Looks Real Estate and Lifestyle podcast. It's hosted by two of the smartest and most attractive realtors in the business, well, according to their mothers. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the brains of the operation, Erika Portanova-Songer, and the looks, George E. O'Connell.
It is episode number Lucky 7.
Lucky 7. Yes, it is. We are back. We're going to talk about Westport tonight. Welcome to Her Brains.
And his looks. I am George E. O'Connell, realtor for William Pitt Sotheby's here in Southport Harbor.
The looks, obviously. And I am.
The looks, obviously. Yeah. Come on.
And I am Erika Portanova-Songer, and I am, of course, the brains, obviously, also a realtor here at William Pitt Sotheby's here in Southport. And we are your fabulous and excited co-hosts of this podcast.
Yes, we are. So let's kick off Westport, Connecticut.
Okay, so every week, remember, we feature a town. We talk about real estate and stats and lifestyle and just fun little antics and stories we can share since we sort of been around the whole area. So hopefully you'll enjoy tonight. So Westport is number 23.
Number 23 in the Bloomberg.
Yes.
Top number for, of course, it is the
top 50 richest places
in America.
In 2020. So number 23 is Westport rated. So a lot of you know Westport, I think, from the shopping and the restaurants. It has 2 train stations. It's a fabulous town, fun to go out in, fun to shop in. It has great beaches. One of our favorites, at least my favorite area, is probably the downtown area of Westport. My favorite store, Athleta.
Yeah, I mean, the great stores along Main Street. However, you know, the revitalization on Church Lane and on the Post Road, which is Bedford Square.
Yep.
David Waldman and his group put that together. It was the old YMCA building.
Right. They moved the Y now, I think, next to the Mayor Parkway.
Yeah,
right?
Mayor Park by the old Red Barn.
But didn't they keep the old Red Horse? Is a historic house, right, that they kept?
Yeah, Bedford.
Yeah.
Mansion House.
Bedford Mansion. Yes, that's pretty cool. It's right by the Spotted Horse, a restaurant where actually George and I met.
Disclaimer, yeah.
Yeah, full
proprietor
disclaimer.
there with Tommy, Kevin, and Peter.
Yep,
so.
Good place to go to. Levitt Pavilion. I saw Mamma Mia there. I'm proud to say I'm a big fan, hence the Swedish heritage. But Levitt Pavilion has tons of outdoor concerts and outdoor
anything from adult shows, comedy shows. They have a ton of kids events, obviously shows throughout the, warmer months. It is an outdoor pavilion, but so, they redid that, I'd say 9 years ago.
I'm not sure when, but I think it's, and if you can get to it if you go sort of walk past the libraries beyond that section
just keep
there.
walking back.
Yeah, and I think in the past, I know various companies would sponsor it. There was, I think, some alcohol served maybe, or BYOB. I don't remember how we drank, but we certainly were able to eat and drink. So
check out Levitt Pavilion. It's online as well.
Yep. Longshore, another popular place in Westport. I used to go and hit tennis balls against the old, whatever you call it, the backboard. I used to live in Westport, so, I'm a lunch break.
I just played golf there.
Yes.
And sailed out of there as well.
And of course, we've both been to, the Pearl, or now the Pearl. Was the Inn at Longshore for a while.
Yeah,
no,
the
Inn at Longshore,
the Inn's still there. Splash was the restaurant.
Yeah, that's what the one was called then. Now it's the Pearl. So great place to eat and drink. Great place outdoors in the summer. They do outdoor concerts, outdoor music rather.
Yeah, their Sundays are a lot of fun. Sunday afternoons, reggae bands and on the patio deck there.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So
place.
a lot of things to do here in Westport. We also have.
Can't forget about Campo Beach.
Campo Beach.
Keep driving down.
Oh, yeah, Campo Beach, our beautiful beach. Public beach in the sense of is privy to Westport residents. If you're not a Westport resident, you have to get a sticker or get to it some other way. And
you can pay to get in.
We can pay to get in, which is,
So Campo Beach has, a skate park for the kids. There's obviously a playground as well. Tons of parking. I would say good amount of parking.
Yeah.
Also has the town docks there as well.
Yeah, it's very pretty. So another place we've talked about, the Saugatuck Rowing Club.
Yeah, that's about 10 years old now. But,
maybe across from Viva Zapata's, right on that riverside.
Yeah, that's a great, the Saugatuck area, great restaurant scene, but Rowing Club has the Boathouse restaurant inside. They have great events too that they host throughout the spring, late spring, and summertime season.
Yeah, I've been there for private parties, holiday parties. They also have, in the mornings, in the morning time, you'll see, the rowers. I mean, they had some competitive rowing teams that I think went to nationals. This is way back when. But
yeah, I'm not sure if I know. Yeah, there was colleges there in the day.
But I mean, adults. Sure. I think adults who will go row like at 5 a.m, and then go on to their normal work day. But
I just can't figure out what is exercise and hobby rowing versus the competitive.
I don't know, but it's hard.
It all looks competitive to me.
I've seen their bodies. They're in incredible shape. So it's definitely an athletic situation going on there. We have 2 train stations in Westport and Greens Farms. Greens Farms Academy.
Speaking of Greens Farms,
yes.
the Academy.
Yep.
So yeah, it's one of the prestigious private educational. It's K through 12.
Yes, great school. It's very popular also, and it's a private school, of course.
If you're celebrities in town, there's likelihood that your kids will. Their kids, not ours.
Yes, their kids will attend that school.
Attend GFA.
Yeah.
You know about the next one, the Hunt Club.
Right, Fairfield County Hunt Club, where it's a huge stable, also with a large clubhouse. They have attached paddle courts and tennis courts and pool, but they're known, of course, and their big thing is their equestrian. So they not only do they board horses there and they teach, but they also have a lot of horse shows throughout the year at this site. So when you're driving down, I think it's Long Lots Road, and it's a beautiful area, and it's open to the public. So there's outdoor shows they have in the summertime. They're considered A-rated horse shows, so they're really big and they're very well attended. They're beautiful.
Do they have polo events there?
I think they do. Polo's not my thing, but yes.
I know I've driven by it in the horse trucks for the shows. I just don't recall polo events.
Right. I think typically it's more the hunters and the jumpers, which we're more accustomed to see. But yes, they've had, I think, a sprinkling of polo events. So it's a fairly well-known equestrian site here in Westport.
Well, we really can't leave, the things that are pretty cool about Westport without talking about the Westport Country Playhouse. It's been around since the 30s,
1931.
1931. Yeah. Everyone knows Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward were great advocates of the Playhouse. And,
right. And she became eventually a director there, a theater director, I think, in year 2000.
I mean, the list of the celebrities that have performed on that stage goes on and on. I read it. It's like 50 long at least.
Yeah.
But they have a play coming up next to normal. That'll start April 14th. It's really not a part of our events, but you got to talk about the Westport Playhouse.
We'll add it to our events list, though, because you want to cater to all interests out there.
You can grab dinner while you're there. Positano's is before the show. Stop by Positano's. So.
And one thing about the Westport Playhouse, they became nonprofit in 1973. So I have a trivia question for George. We're going to call this segment "Ask George a Question."
Okay, I got a question.
All right. Oh, I got a question. I have a couple of questions actually. Well, you don't remember because I didn't tell you. I didn't prep you. This is like off the cuff. So how many seats are in the Westport Country Playhouse?
536.
Very close, as he always is. Nope. One more guess?
That was my question for you.
It wasn't really?
It literally was my question for you.
Is it really?
And I forgot to write the number.
Oh, my God. That's 578. Oh, that's fun. See, this is why we're together. Great minds think alike.
We both went to Wikipedia page.
Okay, but I have a totally random question for George, right? Ask George. So I went to the Bronx Zoo yesterday, as some of you...
Looks, I mean.
Yeah,
sorry.
ask the looks.
Brains, ask looks.
So I went to the Bronx Zoo yesterday, so I have a few statistics for you. I warned you yesterday,
right, go on.
brush up on your jungle and animal facts.
Okay.
So George,
Yes.
how many bird species are there in the world?
18,000.
No.
Okay.
But let's give it a range. How about this? How you're going to go over a certain number. So it's on or about this number. I'll give you one more guess.
25,000.
No, but I like that you're so aggressive with the number. It's around or over 10,500 different species of birds in the world.
Thank you.
We spent a lot of time in the Avarian house. And also, last question for George.
Is this a whole segment?
It's about the zoo. No, one more thing. So, George,
yes.
How many acres is the Bronx Zoo?
Acres. I'll go 240.
Again, see how he's always so close. 265 acres.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
You're-
I had no idea.
If anyone that knows George always knows a little bit about everything all the time. It's actually very frustrating. I do try to stump him.
All right.
All right.
Time to advance the slides.
Yes, I'm on it. Okay. So my job, here we go. There we go.
Those are the rich people in the United States. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry. This is Bloomberg. Yeah, we talked about this already, right? Okay, moving on. Real estate stats, right? So every week we want to give you some real estate substance of the town we're featuring. So we have in 2018, we had 411 homes that sold. And in 2019, we had a little less, 356 homes that sold, about 15% less homes sold the following year.
Oh, you rounded up. You're getting good.
I know. I've been.
We'll round it down.
Well, I'm under your tutelage, apparently. So.
George's slide. Love this one.
Yes. George, do you want to speak about this one?
Well, this is the locations of the closed sales in Westport and the areas. So Coleytown led the list in 2019 with 47 closed homes. You had in downtown area-ish, that 37. In Long Lots, actually came, I didn't do them in order. I apologize. Long Lots had about 50, and to round out the top 4 is Greens Farms with 42.
Right. So again, every week we do a town. Every week, I think you're seeing the pattern is that we have different market areas which attract different people for different reasons. So everybody has their preference, and the most important thing is when you are looking for a home with George or myself or both of us in a town, is really getting a feel of the town and get a feel of which area you want to focus on, and then you really can hone in on your search. But market areas are important because each and every market area has different feel and offers different things. Okay.
As we advance on the slides.
I know, amazing.
You're doing a good job.
Average sale price of single family homes in 2018. So we had 411 homes that sold that year, and we rounded it up to 1,458,000 was the average sale price in 2018. The following year, when we had less homes sell, 365, we had an average of 1,362,000 was the average sale price. So Westport, compared to some towns we've talked about previously, you can see it carries a much higher price point, therefore much higher median incomes, just a different type of caliber of homeowners that live in this town.
Yeah, that's pretty significantly higher compared to
a lot higher.
Towns we featured.
But that's the coolest part, right? That's the best part. I know why I like this job of real estate is because of the diversity, right? Diversity in price points that we deal with in neighborhoods and different towns. It's fun. It keeps it interesting. I love it.
I forget the exact number, but the median household income in Westport from that Bloomberg slide was I think 330.
Should we click up to it?
Nah, just 330.
I might get
Let's
lost.
go with that number. Yeah, stay focused.
Stay focused. All right. Average days on markets. Remember, the moment it goes live on the market on the internet or MLS until the moment it gets a signed and accepted offer. So in 2018, it took about 98 days for the houses to get an offer. And the following year, 2019, when there were less homes that sold, it took longer, 120 days. Now, again, remember, we talk about that it could be a bit skewed in terms of when the listing agent actually checks or adjusts the data. So roughly, it is about less than 22% more or longer. It took. Yeah, thank you.
That's why I had the negative there.
I don't know.
In the,
that threw me off
chart.
anyway.
But it's 22%
but I appreciate
more
that.
or longer in days.
Yeah, so I think here too, higher price points, bring a different expectation of how long it's going to take to sell the house. Total dollar volume of sales. We like to talk about big numbers. 2018, we had $599,051,000.
Would you just knock it off, please?
That was a good rounding.
$599.
My so always critical. Okay, 2019, we had it less, of course. We had $485 million.
Good job.
Volume of sales total for that year.
And that was down a significant amount, almost 24% from the year prior, 2018.
Something to talk about, something definitely to note. The higher end homes have been selling less.
What was interesting here, and I didn't want to jump over it, there is, if we go to a couple slides down, there's over $600 million in homes that are active show or on deposit in Westport right now.
Oh, there's money out there. There's money there to spend and money there to...
So just think about that. 600 on the market right now and 484 the whole year 2019 sold. So
Yeah.
that's pretty significant.
That is significant. Okay.
This chart looks a wee bit different
Yeah,
than
the chart gives it an unfair representation, but sale to list price ratio. Every seller asks, well, what can I expect to sell my house for? And we said, well, roughly you're going to sell it for. So 2018, they roughly sold it for 96.6% or almost 97% of what they were asking, right? Their ask price. The following year, a little bit less. They sold it for almost 96% of the ask price, right? So just it gives you an expectation. We've always seen numbers 95 to 97% is our numbers. It seems for all of Fairfield County thus far. So stay tuned for more.
Oh, here it is. Here's the slide.
Okay. You want to talk about this?
Well, these are the homes that are active now. There's 264 homes that are active, single family, remember. Homes in Westport for $521 million. We have 47 homes that are on the deposit, which means they're in contract, for $76 million, and show, which means they've agreed to the price. There's some outstanding stuff going on for $30 million, for a total of $627 million dollars
Of inventory out there.
That hasn't closed.
Right. It's either actively for sale with a contract or with an accepted offer.
Accepted offer. This is your slide since I did that one. don't
That's why I always find it a little confusing. Okay.
Now remember, this is January. Go.
Just jump in and help if I need it. Okay. Westport, single family homes. We're comparing last January of 2019 to this past January, or last 2 months ago, January 2020. So basically it's telling us the average sale price has gone up. I paused for George to verify or fact check my information.
No, absolutely.
It's gone up roughly 19.5%. Right. So we've seen a change of less than 2% in inventory as far as number of new listings. However, we've gone up in number of pending listings. Our days on market have increased. So it's a little bit all over the place.
What numbers are you looking at?
Am I looking at the wrong numbers? I'm looking at January in the beginning, the first one.
Okay.
What did I look at wrong? Did I do it wrong again?
No.
Why do you jump in and help me?
Well, it's basically, let's look at closed sales. So in January 2019, there was 14 homes that closed. In January 2020, 22 closed.
Right.
So,
for the month.
For the month.
Oh,
57%. Yep.
I was thinking the year.
The days on the market went way up, 107 to 153. And we lost some on the median, but on what you were at the average sale price went up about 19.5%.
Right. I'm going to focus on the right column next time. I prefer that one.
Focus on the right column, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to just change that slide for next week.
All
okay,
right,
thank you. Moving
stats
on.
are done. But that brings us to our first featured listing, because we have something coming up in our industry focus.
Which is kind of exciting. We
It
slipped
is
another one in. Okay, so we always think it's fun to choose. We arbitrarily choose a listing each week.
Well, this one was easily arbitrary.
Easily, yeah. Also, coincidentally listed in our office here at William Pitt Sotheby's by Victoria Fingelli, our friend Vicky. And this happens to also be the highest price home for sale currently in Westport. It is the address, it's a hyphenated address, 112 to 116 Beachside Ave, because it has 3 lots.
3 lots. The one that's on Beachside, where the home that you see in the middle picture is on, and then 14 and 16, I'm not actually sure if it's 12 or there's 2 lots, 2+ acres on Long Island South.
Right, vacant land, literally just right on the water, and the asking price is $16,750,000.
$16,750,000. And the next slide that we have up, little stats of the house. Interesting. This used to be Phil Donahue's house and Marlo Thomas's. They sold that back in 2006. It has 7 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, 2 halves. It's almost 8,500 square feet. That's the main house closer to Beachside. It's a total of, including the 2 lots, 7.7 acres. There's a caretaker's house, which is also the carriage house and the pool house right off the swimming pool. and it's meticulously landscaped and, mature gardens throughout the property.
So George and I had the pleasure of touring the house with Vicky, and it is lovely. So when you drive in, immediately there to your right is the caretaker house he's referring to, which is that / pool house is on the sort of on the main floor. Caretaker's house is upper level with the pool, and the house is just lovely. I mean, it's definitely features of the age 1911 with a yesteryear vintage detail, with the moldings and everything, but it's been updated appropriately. It still keeps that feel of the house, and the windows in anything facing the back of the property it's all windows. I mean, you have unobstructed views.
Yeah, the solarium overlooking, which is kind of the grand lawn right now.
Right.
Before, if anyone decides to build on, obviously purchase the house and build on those lots.
I don't know. I envision a massive croquet tournament. That's how I see this working.
Back to a football lawn. Yeah. Great football lawn. You could probably have about 6 football.
Yeah, the solarium's beautiful. Summer's beautiful. Upstairs, the office. There's a his and hers office, which I liked.
Dead center, overlooking the yard, Long Island Sound, and that's the second floor. Even as you get higher on the third floor.
Where they have additional bedrooms on the third floor.
Yeah. It's, and a gym's up there currently for the homeowner, but the views as you go up just increase, your visibility increases. I mean, you're looking at Long Island today, beautiful day, clear.
Yeah.
You could see the Huntington Hospital like
gorgeous.
It was. You could grab it. You're reaching out and almost grabbing it.
I know our days are rough. We get to tour these gorgeous houses and sort of
just a
sit there.
$16 million.
Yeah,
house.
we get to absorb the views. I mean, we're working really hard. So no, this is one of our many perks we have in our business. But before I flip the slide, just one more. Wait, is there more on this particular? Oh no, hold on. Not to Marlene yet. So this house, so again, Vicky Fingelli is a listing agent of this property, 112-116 Beachside Avenue, Westport. If you are interested in the property and or have any interest in seeing it, obviously call George or myself. Call both of us. We can help you. We work as a team. But again, this probably has the most frontage for water property.
Yeah, it's over 300 feet of frontage.
Which is really important because you don't see that a lot in our area. Actually, there's nothing else available.
Private beach access.
Yeah, so that's important to note. So
definitely a thank you to Vicky.
Yes, thank you, Vicky,
getting us out to preview
and being our fabulous tour guide. So okay, moving on.
All right, on episode 7, Westport, our industry focus is with what I call super agent Marlene Recchia. Marlene sat down with Erika and I, and she spoke about the importance of your final walkthrough inspection. Wait till you hear her story. Here's Marlene.
Okay, we are here with our guest, Marlene Recchia, who is a colleague of ours here at William Pitt Sotheby's in Southport, Connecticut, and a personal friend of mine and also my mentor here in real estate. So we're excited to have her on so she can shed some of her experiences and some light on what she's done and why she does what she does, and looking forward to hearing from her.
Yeah, this is our industry focus for the town of Westport. How you doing, Marlene?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great, thanks for coming in. So, Marlene, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into the real estate business and how long you've been, and give us a background.
Sure. I'm starting my 32nd year. I can't even believe it. Most of the time I was with a company called Nicholas Fingelli Real Estate. We merged 5 years ago with William Pitt Sotheby's, which has been...
So you didn't leave the office. You just went with the merge.
I did. The sign changed, nothing else. They didn't, my desk moved a few feet, but other than that, I'm in the same spot for 32 years almost. It's been terrific. It's a great group. I got into the business. I was a buyer for Bloomingdale's and Baumwood Teller in New York City, and we had been married, 7 or 8 years, and I was traveling around, and that's a hard business to be in when you're with a family.
Just a lot of travel.
A lot of travel. I worked on 7th Avenue for a couple of knitwear companies. Loved it. It was a great time in the industry. Business was good. Stores were booming.
And a great time in your life at that age.
Great time. Who doesn't like New York when they're in their 20s?
Well, hold on. You still have a good time now. Let's just hold on here, people.
We do. Just a little grayer.
In the 20s in Manhattan, and that's a little different.
That's right. So it was time to settle down and have a family. And we lived in Fairfield. And I thought, I'm going to get my real estate license. My parents were realtors.
Oh, okay. So it was family?
In Stanford, right?
Yeah, as the second career. It wasn't what they started, although my father dabbled in, they would buy and sell properties, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And my husband and I were buying and selling properties at the time, owned several multifamilies. We owned a commercial building with 8 apartments and stores underneath it, that kind of thing.
So you had you knew the process.
Exactly. Yep. We'd owned 3 homes at that point. So I said, you know what, I'm going to get my real estate license. I think I can do well. And I did, I didn't know too many people in town because we had no children, and I worked in New York. But then I had my son. We had our son, and he went to school, and there started my sphere of influence.
Nice.
Other than those that were on the train.
Now, was your initial reasoning for real estate a changing career, or was it to find your own homes to purchase, invest in? Or?
A little of both. And I wanted to change careers and work closer to home.
So, okay.
So I'm never farther than 30, 35 minutes away from home.
Which is nice.
It's great. I handle Fairfield County. I go from, Stanford area to Shelton. So, I'm always very close.
There's not a neighborhood you don't know.
There really isn't.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There really is. I've owned properties in a lot of the towns and cities. So, I'm pretty familiar.
Excellent.
And you're a wealth of knowledge because having worked with Marlene for, what is it now, 13 years maybe? 13 years I've been working with you. She's always my go-to person.
Couldn't you say 14 years?
I don't know, 14, 13, I don't even know, 14. But, she's my 7:30 in the morning phone call on a Sunday because I know she'll pick up. Like, Mar, I have a quick question for you. And I just got to get this answered. Of course, those type of questions need to be answered, immediately because believe it or not, that's the type of business we are in sometimes.
That's right.
She's my go-to. But so Marlene, we talked about a couple of things we wanted to chat about in this podcast interview with you. And we thought one could be, let's talk about the importance of, walkthroughs, for example. You have some stories to share about that?
Very, very important to do a final walkthrough. And if you do it the night before, I also personally go the morning of as much as I can.
Tell us why that's important.
Because several times, one night years ago, it was in the 90s. It was the night before closing and the people had left. They said, we're going camping in the woods. You're not going to be able to reach us. The house is clean and shiny. And it was all ready. You're all set, Marlene. You're closing. I get a call about 3 a.m. and it's from the Fairfield Police. Are you Marlene Recchia? I said, yes. I think you need to come over here. And one of the neighbors, we didn't have our names on the signs at that point.
So they just
one of the neighbors
them.
said, Marlene Recchia, and Nicholas Vangelia at the time is the realtor. And I said, yes, you need to come over to such and such address. It was in the Stratfield area, an adorable house with a gorgeous wraparound porch. And the kid down the street had a fight with his dad, stole his MG.
Wow,
and
I can almost sense where this is going.
Speeding around the corner. And these are little streets, really darling neighborhood, and went right up onto the porch. Into the house. Bay windows gone. It was a beautiful 1910 house. Jeez. I said, well, that kitchen that really needed to be replaced, guess what? So
the insurance money took care of that.
I'm standing there like, where is this kid? I was going to kill him. I said, did the kid get hurt? They said, no. I said, bring him to me. So now I have to find. Now the cell phones were very weak at that point. This is the early 90s. They are camping and hiking up in New York State somewhere. Which they had told me, there's no reason, Marlene, you're all set. Okay.
Wait till you get this phone call.
Wait till you get this
or his
phone
voicemail.
Call. I happen to have remembered, they were leaving the area, and I happened to remember the name of his law firm. He was a young attorney and in upstate New York. And I reached out to them, and between the two of us, we got a hold of him.
Excellent.
So the insurance companies worked so hard, thank God. And the young couple that was moving into the house were coming from far away and had a few kids.
Oh, geez. So where did they end up going?
So, believe it or not, we pulled it together. The insurance company, it was an emergency thing. The attorneys were great. The insurance company was terrific. We got everybody there in hours. And they didn't have a new kitchen yet, but they took all the junk that was now in pieces in their kitchen. That cruddy bay window was a brand new shiny bay window.
That's amazing.
They got a new port. So the buyer was quite happy because they ended up with a lot of new things.
Did they close on time?
We closed on time. We closed on time with all kinds of assurances and letters.
Sorts of contingencies.
Contingencies, exactly. But they were happy, and they were like, they were not my client. The buyer was not my client, but they were like, Thank you so much. Oh, yeah.
Well, it shows too that we all work together, right? I mean, whether or not you're representing the sellers or the buyers is irrelevant. You're getting the transaction closed, and I think that. So the moral of the story here is walk
your
through.
final walkthrough.
Yep. You could do what I do a preliminary final walk the night before, sure, but do the last minute walkthrough right before the closing because you never know.
You never know.
I was at a closing once in Stratford, and we were there, and a tree went through. There was a windstorm, and neighbor's tree went right through the middle of the 2-car garage when we were at a closing.
Oh my God.
And I said, he calls. He goes to the house afterwards. Young man, single guy, and he goes to the house. He goes, Marlene. I said, yes. He goes, remember that wind we were listening to at the closing? Yeah. Well, the tree is, I now have a skylight in my garage I didn't want. I said, you're kidding. I said, wait, your insurance is in effect, right? Yeah. So, but it worked out. It was fun.
It always
You
does.
know you've done some transaction when you have 2 of those stories.
You know you've done it for a long time, right?
Right.
Well, thank you for sharing those stories. Okay, so do you want to share with us a cool listing you have on now on the market? Anything you want to share with us? It's an interesting.
Let's talk about vacationing at home. I have a terrific summer rental right on the beach in Westport, right on Soundview Avenue with a wonderful, it's like Summer of 42, that wonderful cottage with the front porch. Like, it's decorated nicely and has a nice granite kitchen. But I go to this house sometimes, even in the wintertime, just to sit on the front porch. It's lovely. It's
And direct waterfront.
direct waterfront.
Like walk out on the sand.
Out,
Nice.
you walk across the street,
Okay.
sidewalk, and then onto the sand. But it's lovely. It's $20,000. I have the month of August available. So if somebody can't take full vacation, but they work in Stamford or White Plains or New York, why don't they rent this out with some of their friends possibly? And there's 4 bedrooms.
Yeah, I drove by it on the way here.
Isn't it charming?
It's a beautiful home. I mean, when you say on the waterfront, the beach is right across.
Oh,
It's
and the
right
view
there.
is beautiful all year round. And I've sat there on rainy days waiting for clients because there's a full porch with a roof on it, and it's just lovely, and it's always sunny.
I did fix your sign when I was there a month ago.
Oh,
I'll have you
Nice of
know.
you, George. See, y'all work
It's
together.
very windy there. I've had it, fixed a few times by the company, and the neighbor fixes it for me. Thank you.
And that's why you always carry cable ties in your
Zip
car.
ties are
Zip
always in
ties,
the
right?
car,
Yep. George has them, and I have a
Looked
supply.
like, yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
But I think that, so as your point is too, instead of having to travel to the Outer Banks, which is also great, you can also just do a staycation, stay here, rent a house on the beach, and you'll feel like you're away from home and you just have those beautiful views.
Right. Why fight the traffic to the
Yeah.
Hamptons or Cape Cod when you can just be in Westport and you can walk to so many things?
I mean, Westport has the accommodations of any, shore town up the line or into the island. It has the feel of being up the shore a little bit. Absolutely.
And the
That's right.
and the 19th wealthiest town in the U.S.
Westport, Connecticut.
Yeah, I
is.
knew it's up there.
It's up there. So we could match any vacation town.
Yeah, I can't wait till we hit the stats already. So you're listening
Yeah.
to this after Erika did the stats.
What's nice about this house is most of those houses have no backyard to throw a ball in. So if you have children or you just want to kick around a soccer ball or whatever, or play croquet, this is a private driveway, gated, and a lovely backyard.
Yeah,
So something to think about.
absolutely.
All right. And what's the address of that property?
19 Soundview Drive in Westport.
And if they want to see this rental property, how do they contact you, Marlene?
Marlene Recchia. My cell is 203-257-4080.
And as always, Marlene's bio and slide will be in our Google Slides. Her information, phone number, and email address will be attached to that as well. We'll have the stats of the house and the listing of the house attached.
So thank you, Marlene, my dear friend. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks. This was fun.
That was an easy one. Thanks,
It was.
guys.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
That was great. I love that
was
story
awesome.
about a little MG came through the bay window, and it was the night before.
The night before?
They got it
Or
all
in the middle of the night, yeah.
and they got it all together.
Yeah. So we have to fact check, right? So in that pre-recorded interview, I said 19th wealthiest town. Westport is, in fact, the 23rd
They
wealthiest
got
town.
kicked down a little bit in
Yeah,
2020.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
fact checks are
Fact
okay.
check.
So this brings us to her brains, his looks, go to 2. And we've decided to check out the most awesome Black Duck Cafe in Saugatuck.
I challenge anyone here in our audience who does not know this place. Well, if you're local.
Oh yeah, I've been. I spent a few hours in this place.
Oh yeah, likewise.
I mean, when Sandy came in, it was floating. I think at
Literally,
one point.
yeah. And he's referring to Sandy the hurricane,
which
way back
is
when
in
for those.
the slide presentation. It's one of the Hurricane Sandy.
yeah.
Sorry, it's in the top right picture in our slide presentation. It was pretty wild to see.
Black Duck literally looks like it's been sinking into the water for all this time.
It's a
forever.
remarkable place.
It is
we went
Westport
there,
icon.
yeah, we went there today for lunch. Of course, we had to get George's lobster roll and
Of
fish
course.
and chips.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, our friend Melissa was tending bar,
Yep.
so we stopped and said hello to them. A couple of regulars from the Spotted Horse were there.
Yep.
So it was like being back at work at Spotted Horse. It was nice. Food was spectacular.
Yeah,
Don't
food's
get us
always
wrong.
good there, and the bar is always well attended during the day or at night. I mean, it's.
their karaoke is packed.
I think it's every Tuesday night.
Tuesday nights,
karaoke. Yep,
karaoke's
really popular.
packed. They have live bands.
Yeah.
You know, it's really one of the places that you seem to lose these types of places because of new, bigger, hipper, chicer.
It's been nice they've kept it literally looking exactly the same. Although I did know, I haven't been there in a while till we went today for lunch, and they have painted it white. That dark wood is now painted inside. So that was an observation of mine that was a slight change. Otherwise, everything was still as it always has been for years.
Yeah, it's the Black Duck used to have a racing team, a speedboat racing team, jet boat. I don't know what you call
fun.
them. Peter Atkins, the owner there, and another gentleman we knew was the throttle man. So they have a couple of those replica boat. Well, probably the boats, not replicas, out there in the in the parking lot. So it's pretty wild to see.
Yeah.
But
Cool place. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. I'd be shocked if you haven't, but it's a great place.
it's
Great Sunday brunches too.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely the Saugatuck area is a great place to hang out and travel on a Sunday. You have Dunville's there.
Yep.
Viva Zapatas. Now you have Parker.
Rizzuto's is still
Rizzuto,
there.
yep, absolutely.
And
So-
it's right near the train station. You can literally take the train up for the city, hop off the train in Westport, and walk there. You'll be there in 2 minutes.
And you can bing bang around
Yeah.
for 5 cool places on a
A day of
Sunday.
eating and drinking. What's wrong with that? All right, should we move on to our next?
Yeah, this was, we were searching, we love the small businesses,
Right.
mom and pops, as you say. And we struggled, I'll be honest, to find a mom and pop store that we wanted to feature. And going into Westport, heading towards the Black Duck for lunch, we came across the Age of Reason.
Locally owned by Dina Berger. She has owned this store, which is a toy store for children. A lot of educational toys, but awesome toys. A lot of books that are a little bit different than what you'd normally expect. For example, she would promote books of more classics, but in a child version. I happen to buy Anne of Green Gables today for my daughter.
No idea what that means.
Yeah, anybody in my age group would understand what that book is. Anyway, but Dina Berger has had this store
83?
1983. She at one point had 3 stores, but now she has the singular store here.
And this storefront bopped around, but staying in the same complex.
In the same area. So right on the, what do you call it, the bridge?
Yeah, Post Road.
Yep.
We're coming down as you come down towards the bridge into downtown Westport. It's right there on the right. Parking is right in front.
It's really easy to park.
Easy to park.
Which I thought was, so we had a chance to talk to Dina, and she was lovely, and the owner of this store, Age of Reason, and what I
Cool
thought was very,
background.
very cool background. So she was a practicing attorney,
Environmental.
and then got her master's in environmental law, right, and then but at the same time, while she's still practicing, decided to open up the store. I'm not exactly sure what prompted her to do so, but she just seemed to like this.
It was kind of cool. She was talking about her husband was on the scientific side. He was a doctor.
He's a doctor, yep.
And, she went into this environmental law, which brought her into the scientific toys.
Right.
And, things that stimulate the brain.
Yeah. So the store has, some really neat stuff. A lot of science kits, which is really popular now with elementary age schools. age school kids, science kits, lots of books, a lot of interactive, a lot of puzzle type of toys. But yeah, she stopped. I think she ultimately stopped practicing law and just focused on this full time. And the store's great. So, we don't have a lot of toy stores out there anymore. So it's nice to also kind of shop and feel versus always ordering online. So highly recommend it. Age of Reason at 9 Post Road West in Westport. Again, it's on the bridge. Parking is easy. Dina Berger is the owner, and she's lovely to speak with and has a lot of knowledge about this stuff.
Tell her you heard about the store from us.
Oh, yeah. Please mention our podcast.
She was excited that she was going to be on the show.
Yeah, she was really excited.
We were super excited to come across this store.
Yeah, me too. And I may have bought a few things there. So
A few things.
Okay.
By the way, it's coming your way. You're a kid.
Anyway. All right.
So we get to our segment, the HBHL's cool events. This week we did pick 6 cool events. And remember, Erika, we're going top right,
God.
top left, to top right.
I already got confused.
So you can speak the alpaca nose because I have enough to say.
That's the first one, so I can't mess that one up. So we put all this on our calendar, which we always it's shareable with everyone. You can look at it. We just pick out a few events, but come to us for the local events in the areas. We are adding as we collect it, so use us as a resource. Okay, the Alpaca Gnomes, one of George's favorite bands. Sunday, March 15th at 7:45 at the FTC, Fairfield Theater Company here at 70 Sanford Street, 7:45 to 10:45.
Yeah, they normally sell out. I did not see that they sold out this time, so it's definitely check that out.
Yep.
Now brings us to our next event. Bridgeport holding strong, saying they will, without a doubt, have their St. Patrick's Day parade, which is on, as always, St. Patrick's Day. This is Tuesday, March 17th. It starts 12 noon, downtown Bridgeport. They did cancel the ancillary events, the breakfast, the prayer, because that's inside. But they feel that being an outside event, they're still planning to hold it.
Now, bear in mind, every other town has canceled their St. Patrick's Day parades. And by the way, no criticism, no insult meant here. We're just sharing information as we receive it. So George will be there, as he always is, faithfully every single year.
Murphy's Law.
Oh, yes.
And you can do the next one because...
we think it's pronounced the motet. I'm using my French language. Motet. On Thursday, March 19th at 8 p.m. at the Warehouse Fairfield Theater Company. It will be performing.
Yes, performing.
Yes. There you go.
In the warehouse. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
So then we have the business owners of Black Rock. They do an annual cleanup. It is Saturday, March 29th. It starts at 9:30 in the morning. It's on Fairfield Ave in Black Rock.
This is their first one. It's the premiere of their, everyone's gearing towards
Black Rock got a group
birthday.
together of all the business owners created this, business owners of Black Rock.
That's good,
and, they're going to clean up the Ave.
Are you going to participate in this? You should do that.
Of course, yeah.
We should do that.
I think, we can talk to Mike from Bryac. I'm sure that's going to be one of the hubs.
We'll have to wear our podcast hats that we are still trying to get. We're going to get some swag going on here.
Swag.
So working on that. Relating to environmental awareness and cleaning up, the 50th anniversary of Earth Day Festival on Saturday, April 25th
All right.
Seaside Park. Did I get it right?
You did.
Yeah, Seaside Park.
But when is Earth Day?
I don't know. April 22nd.
You are correct. It's also Dean Holland's birthday, my buddy Dean.
Okay, I don't know Dean, but happy birthday.
I just remembered it. Like Earth Day, Dean's birthday.
So a lot of Earth Day. So a lot of environmental awareness events coming up. And of course, the last one is George's favorite. One of his favorites.
Ferris Farm Creamery is opening in Newtown on April 7th.
Yep. Had to flag that for George immediately when I saw it come across my
Walnut
feed.
Beach Creamery down there in Milford is a top 1 or 2, and this is a 1 or 2.
Newtown's pretty good. So
Newtown
Ferris
awesome.
Creamery in Newtown on Route 302, I think, April 7th.
April 7th.
The opening day. And you can email them if you have certain flavors that you would like to see them create.
What?
I read this.
Well, you didn't tell me this.
Well, because I was
It's
gonna
ice cream.
Yeah, I was going to let you know later.
Realize how much ice cream?
Oh, no.
I think everybody can see how much ice cream.
George, you're
I get.
perfect just the way you are. But you can email them at the Ferris Creamery and kind of elect for a certain flavor that you'd like to see them have. So enjoy.
And a couple of reminders coming up. I have to put the screen on.
That's okay. We have, don't forget, we're going to do our Inside the Deal.
that will start on Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays from now.
Yes, Tuesday. Yeah, whatever that date is. Very excited about that.
So Inside the Deal, it's going to be a call-in show. You can ask a realtor, which is Erika and I are both realtors for William Pitt Sotheby's here in Southport. You can ask any questions you have. You can call and say hi.
Yep.
We're going to need some friends to call in till this gets some motion, but look out for it 2 Tuesdays from now.
Yes,
We'll
thank
be
you.
making more announcements.
And of course, next week will be.
What? I'm ready to. Tuesday, I'm ready.
No, please.
Oh.
We're going to have our podcast will be next Wednesday instead of our usual Tuesday due to the St. Patrick's Day festivities, as someone here is participating in, but somebody may not be.
And as always, here is our contact info. Get a hold of us. We are full-time realtors. We work hard for you. So check us out. Our contact information is there. Our podcast hotline, phone number is there. It's 424-1354. Call in, ask us a question. We will use it if you'd like on our next podcast, or we'll use it on Inside the Deal.
All right.
So
that's a wrap.
that's a wrap. You're just ending it like
That was awesome. I think it's a wrap.
That was a phenomenal job.
So next week we're doing Shelton.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Yeah, a few thank yous, of course, to Vicky Fingelli, Marlene Recchia for, sharing her stories about the, final walkthrough process. And
thank you to Dina Berger at
Dina Berger, yeah.
Age of Reason. And, of course, Black Duck. We love them there.
Thanks,
all of them.
Melissa.
All right.
So, George the Looks out.
Erika the Brains. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.